support each other because they've been through it, they understand it, and they know what it means to take care of themselves because they do it, right? So you support one another. So you kind of shed the dead weight, the ones that aren't supporting you, and you move on to those who can get it and can support you. And you're not going to get to meet those kind of people until you put yourself in that kind of a situation.
That's right.
And then when you think about what it took for that woman to get to that point to say, I need my space, and you got to applaud that.
Yes.
And I've always found that most fascinating, like when we go to Joy Source and, hearing everybody's stories and how they all got to be where they're at, and everybody did it because they went through something or, they just got to that point where you needed time for you. And to hear everybody's stories and then to be part of their lives, and we've formed like some really good friendships through all of that for years, and we know their story and to help support each other through it is huge, which you wouldn't have if you never took that time for yourself, if you always felt guilty. I mean, there's only so much conversation you can have with a 12-year-old and
that's right.
an 11-year-old twins who barely want to talk to you.
Right. And
does anybody want to say anything to me?
I know. And last year, one of the women at Joy Weekend was saying that her mother booked it for her because she knew she needed it so badly and she wouldn't take the time for her. So she went and booked it and the girl had to show up and she enjoyed it. And she, from what I could see, she really enjoyed it. But sometimes it takes someone else to say, you need this. Like, I am scheduling this for you. You've got to do it for yourself. And that is always so sad for me when women are so stuck in that guilt-ridden place of, I know I need it for me, but I just can't quite get there. And that's the message today to women who are listening to this, who are in that place of feeling guilty and, always having to be that superstar mom. I try the best I can every day to be a good mom. I have some brilliant mommy moments that are in my Joy-worthy book that are just like, I can't believe I did those things, right? Because you just do, and you're tired and you're frustrated, and kids can bring out the worst in you, and as in the best in you. But I want this message to be one of support for those women who really struggle. And I think it's not putting the guilt on you. Like, everybody's doing the best they can, but we all need to recharge and remember you're you first, and you're a mom too, and you have needs that you need to take care of, whether it's professional, emotional, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you're taking that time out for you so that you can always have enough to give back, because that's all we do as parents is we're always giving and giving and giving. And I always said that, when my kids were little, I'm like, geez, like, this is just a lot of work. Like, all we're doing is giving, right? Because they're, babies and you're feeding them and changing them. I mean, right. And then it's older and it's this and it's that. And so, I still get these texts from my son who's older. He'll wake up, in the afternoon and say, I'm hungry. And I'll text him back and say, how about good morning? I know you forgot where the kitchen is. Right. We've only lived there your whole life, exactly. But the kitchen's just right around the corner. The food is there. Yeah, but I want you to get it for me. No. It's that type of thing. And I go, well, get it yourself or starve. I mean, I'm not home. Right, exactly. So, when I get home, I'm happy to help you. But, but I think that there's women who just drop everything all the time. Let me get what you need. Yeah. Let me get this. Let me get that. And this. And, It's hard, but there's a way that you say, yeah, but there's also boundaries you need to put so that you don't give out way too much and you're so drained every day.
I think that's a huge part of the guilt. Is a lot of it comes from the kids feeling that they're entitled, because we do give and do and do and do and do, so they continue to feel entitled. Right. So you do have to set those boundaries, because otherwise they will totally suck the life out.
They'll just keep taking. Right.
They'll keep taking.
Yeah. And I think it's important. Like, women need to learn to just not really care about what other people think or say about them. Like, in terms of like, we do a lot of stuff because we're worried about what someone's going to say or think. And you know what? It doesn't really matter, right?
No, it doesn't.
Who cares?
You're right. Who cares? But a lot of women are so far from that place.
Some of us just say, hey, you know what?
Right. And because I think that, like I said, I think we are quick to judge.
Everybody has an opinion on it.
Well, everybody has an opinion. You're right. And right or wrong, everybody has an opinion. And so
getting into a place where it doesn't matter. Their opinion does not matter.
You could say, thank you very much for your advice. That's great. But I'm going to do it this way anyways.
That's right. And we want, and we talk about guilt from the kids too. And it's how much can, they're kids, so they're going to keep asking, and you can keep delivering, and they're going to keep asking, and you can run yourself ragged with going all over town for this and that, or you can just, set your boundaries and say, I cannot do that now, but I'll do it another time. But I see women get so haggard with trying to, and then trying to put them in all the activities and trying to, and it's a lot. It's too much sometimes.
And it's the expense of it all. And you feel guilty because if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're not contributing to the expense, or you feel guilty because you're working and you can't, maybe you're missing their games or whatever that you paid for. So it's like it comes from every direction.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's funny, as we're talking, my son texts me and it says, so when you're done, would you be honored to go to Trader Joe's and get those watermelon drinks I like?
Oh my God.
Oh, seriously. And he's the cutest thing, but honestly, he'd run, and I always say, he would run me ragged if I let him. Could you go, to the other side of town? I know you're in your pajamas, but would you mind? Because that burrito that I liked from that Mexican place, I can't remember the name, but could you go get that? And, I joke about it and say, no, but another time when I'm driving by tomorrow on the way to dropping you to work, I'd be happy to do that. But I'm not running to Trader Joe's tonight and getting you watermelon drinks that you like. Which, by the way.
Uber Eats, what is that thing?
Right. But by the way, it was drinks that I bought for myself, and I came home and they were all gone.
Right, so there you go.
Okay, and you just have to laugh and say, could you save me one?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I bought those for me. Well, I had 2 last night. Okay.
Then you do what I do. I write a sticky note, do not touch.
Yeah.
Put them in the fridge. Don't touch.
Right.
Anyone who touches them is losing their phone.
Right,
Oh
right.
God.
So, it comes with this set of boundaries, which is, I do a lot of talks on setting boundaries as well. But, when it comes to guilt, I think we have to also set those boundaries for ourselves to say, I'm doing this for me, and I'm not going to allow myself to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to hang out with those people who make me feel guilty. I'm going to find those friends that are in the same way. They parent the way I parent. Mm-hmm. We get babysitters, or we have careers, and it's all okay. And those people that make you feel guilty, I think you just can't hang around with them. Because then you're going to get sucked into it. It makes us question, should I really be doing this? Should I really be going away for that weekend? What if they need me, or what if this? And when you start questioning yourself, then you start going back into giving yourself those pieces, giving them away, and then you don't do anything. And I just think that
left, right,
and then you have nothing left, And so those moms that are putting their goals and dreams on the back burner, what do you say to them? So people like Julie, you've been very interested in starting your new career, and so. Which some moms would say, well, why can't you just wait till, your kids are in college, like you'll have more time? But it's like, no, these things are pressing. These things are important for us right now. We're going to find the time. They're important for us. They make us better people, better parents. What do we say to these women who are just saying, no, it's all for the kids, so I'll start my life later? What is the answer to that?
Later is now. Later is now.
You have no idea what later is going to bring. Life can change at any given moment. Right. And I became more aware of that with my mom getting sick with a brain tumor. One day she just wakes up and boom, at 66 years old. So you realize that and say I'm 47. It's not you gradually realize that you can wait and wait and wait, but you have no idea what tomorrow's going to bring, right? So you got to live in every single moment, and there's so much to live for right now that you have to do what's right for you too. And the kids are not going to fall by the wayside. Let's face it.
Right,
it's not,
right.
You're going to continue to care for them, provide for them, do for them. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with doing for yourself at the same time. You have to. It's the only way to stay sane.
And prioritize that, right?
And rely on other people. There's no reason why you can't, your kids are on a sports team, connect with other parents and carpool. Kids on a dance team, you carpool. Like, you don't have to be the everything and everyone. You have to let go of some of that control, because I know that for me sometimes that was an issue. Like, I was,
sure, right.
I needed control, and I don't want people driving. My kids are this, my kids are that. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you have to. Okay, these are the parents too, right?
That's right.
So they're capable. They're in your life. You trust them. They're good. So. You give up some of that control. You rely on other people. You get the help and support, and take care of yourself a little bit.
Right, and I think that's hard. Is giving up that control of, again, I should be doing this. I should be taking them to this. I should be taking them to that. And there's nothing more. I don't even know what words to say for this, but being a mom taxi, I feel like it's so mind numbing. And enjoy less.
Right.
There was one week that I did nothing but take my kids to, I usually have lots of help with, again, carpooling and so forth. But it was one particular week that all I felt like I did was in the car, bringing them to one place to another, day after day after day. And I'm going to tell you, it was such a bad week for me because first I start off feeling excited, like, okay, I'll get a good coffee and I'll listen to the music I like or whatever. But by the end of the week, I was so drained because I didn't do really anything. I just sat in a car, brought them place to place to place to place. And I feel like so many moms spend so much of their time doing that. Oh, yeah. And I mean, it just feels like it just takes, like it didn't add anything to me. And again, some moms out there might appreciate the quiet time. And again, it's whatever you are in your journey. But for me, I just figured, it really it wasn't a great feeling to just cart them around all week long, sort of this mind-numbing thing that I did, right? I mean, it didn't offer much. I felt like I didn't get anything from it that was joyful in any way.
And usually racing, you're stuck in traffic, you got the red lights, you're stressing in the car, you're trying to get them here. And when you have more than one kid going one side of town to the other side of town.
Yeah, back up in a loop around to get them. Back up in a loop around to get them.
Let's do this. I got to go here. I got to go drop off. I'll be back.
Yeah.
But then, the other part of that is, I think sometimes too, for me, the guilt of, I had to accept that, maybe I was missing a soccer game. Like I couldn't be at every single event, every single game, every single, whatever for each one of my kids. I have 3 kids and sometimes they overlap and, sometimes you have to miss one and, go to the other and sometimes you miss that one and go to the others. And, that's another thing that it's hard because everyone wants to be there for every single one of their kids' events, a lot of the times. And sometimes it's just not practical.
Yeah. And I think it's not practical. And, and given my son had plays hockey for the last 7 years and, there's like 36 games, okay? So I missed many out of the 36. And this past year, his games were like at 9:30 at night. And as you know, I am, in bed earlier than that. Before you even get on the ice, I'm in bed. So I missed probably more than half of his season. He doesn't bring it up. He doesn't talk to me about it. He doesn't go, Mom, I can't believe you missed my games. Right. It's just life went on. Right. He had a great game. He'd come home. He'd tell me. I went to as many as I could. So I think parents get stuck in that. Like, am I going to be a bad parent if I don't see every single game or if I don't go to this and I don't go to that?
We lose sight of the fact that the child is getting the activity that they want, which is making them happy.
Right.
So I'm sure they're thrilled if we're there, but you know what? They're still getting such a benefit. They have coaches who are guiding them. They have their teammates, that there's a camaraderie there. They're in an activity that they enjoy. So there's really nothing. It's a good thing for them, right? So
right, and so they can come home and tell us about it.
Exactly.
I think that he would.
And they get excited sometimes to be able to come home and say, "Oh my God!" It was
yes.
And they're like, "Really?" And that was great. You can talk about it.
And then they appreciate the ones that you did show up at.
Right. Right. And he would say, "Oh, Mom, you're not coming tonight." I say, "No, buddy, I'm not." Okay. I said, I promise I'll try to get to the next one. He goes, well, you say that, but it's at 9 at night. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I won't, but I'll see you, the following. But, and then I see these parents that just, that put too much pressure on themselves. I'll say that because I love going to kids sporting. I think that's awesome. It's a great thing. But I do think that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that, oh my God, will I be seen as a bad parent if I'm not there? Or, those types of things that I think we need to ease up a little bit on. Like, you're a great parent. You signed them up for a sporting thing. You paid for it. Let them go and have a great time.
Get them there, pick them up, pay for their equipment, make sure they're at practices, trainings, whatever they need.
Yeah, and it's all good. Like, we just need to relax a little bit. Like, we're doing a great job. So you can't get to everything. It's okay.
And I'm sure those ones that are there at every single game wish that they were
not there all the time.
Have to, right, or have that pressure on themselves to be there all the time.
Listen, there's nothing better than sitting out in the freezing cold rain for a soccer game.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
That's
awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Said no mother ever.
Right. And I think that, that's the reminder, too, of this message is to let women know that you're doing a great job. Right. Every day you wake up, you're giving it 110%. So you have to remember to take time out for you, and the things that you love to do should still be number one in your life, and prioritize that. Just don't let it go. Just whether you want to play a sport or whether you want to do something or learn an instrument or something, that also should be part of your priority list, as well as your children are already on there. You're already sacrificing and doing, and it's all good. But when you lose sight of who you are, there's pieces of yourself start to fall away, and you have to work hard to get them back, which you can. And that's why I started my Joy Weekend, is because I want women to kind of reclaim themselves and their joy. Because I started the Joy Source so many years ago because I just felt like when I started having kids of like, why aren't people happier? I'm looking at all these moms, like no one's happy. No one's full of joy. No, it's just that we've given so much out, and there's this guilt about don't take time for yourself, and I know that's shifting now in culturally, but we still have a long way to go.
Well, and the other part of that is, if you're always giving, and you become just emotionally drained too, then eventually that manifests itself into physical sickness. And
that's right.
So by not taking the time for yourself to regroup,